We're pleased to be joined by the president and CEO of the Center for Automotive Research. Carla Bailo is with us now on the Oakland County Megacast. Carla, thank you for being with us today.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate having you on. How are you? How's your team at the Center for Automotive Research been?
Well, we've been doing the best we can in the virtual world. No one really is back in the office. Everyone's staying safe, and our research has been going quite well, actually.
So, Carla, for those who are unfamiliar, what kind of research in the automotive industry does the center perform in normal times, and what kind of research are they performing during these times that we're in during the pandemic?
Yeah, well, one thing that's good about a crisis is it does, enable, or a lot of people need research done to try to understand what's happening and what that means for their future business. So our whole mission is the sustainability of the automotive industry. And we have two particular research teams. One is business, which looks at economics, forecasting, sales trends, impacts of trade and tariffs, which, as you know, we just got another 10% on Canadian aluminum over the weekend. And then the other group is technology, and that's where we look at materials, lightweighting, smart factory, smart cities, smart mobility, public transit, urban planning. We do a vast array of research for the industry.
Carla Bailo with us. She is the president and CEO of the Center for Automotive Research. Carla, on a large scale level, and this is a very broad question, how has the automotive industry been impacted positively and negatively by the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, when it first hit, clearly everything was shut down. So that was a huge financial hit. That was billions of dollars, for the second quarter, which we saw in many of the second quarter reports. Now, the good side is, they did pivot and really supported the country, supported their workforce in creating PPE of all kinds, be it face masks, face shields, ventilators. There was tremendous work done by the engineering horsepower that exists in the automotive industry. So financially, it was a big hit. Then, of course, all the manufacturing had to quickly be reworked for the restart protocols to make sure that the workers could stay healthy, which, impacted the layout of the floor. Now, the other part of this, there's two other pieces besides healthy workers. You've got to have a healthy supply chain, and that is a global supply chain. So making sure that, you had resiliency from parts you were getting from Mexico. The whole world had to cooperate in that. And third is healthy demand from the customer. And so far, it stayed pretty healthy, especially for full-size trucks and electrified vehicles. Again, that's going to be dependent on how long this lasts and, how much free money people have to actually purchase a vehicle.
So, Carla, mentioning the global chain supply, do you foresee there's going to be a disruption, a continued disruption as this virus circles the globe?
It may actually be so because there are parts that come from Vietnam, from the Philippines, from Mexico, from Canada, from Europe, you name it. And it really depends where the hot spots are and if they're able to keep the manufacturing plants up and running. Most of the automotive companies have now tried to diversify their supply chain as much as possible so that if they can't get it from one source, they can get it from another. This has been going on for a number of years since we started having, starting with earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, so many natural disasters that have disrupted the supply chain. So you really look for that way to be able to get the parts from multiple sources.
Why do you think we're seeing a surge in used car sales?
Well, there's probably two big reasons for that. The first one, and this is what the dealerships told me, is many of the people who rely on public transit at this stage don't trust public transit. So they were telling me they couldn't keep vehicles on their lot that were under $10,000. People just needed a cheap car to get to and from their workplace because they just don't trust getting on public transit. Again, it depends how long the pandemic lasts. Secondly, there is a dearth of used cars right now. We got many coming in from people turning in leases. We got a bunch coming in from car rental companies. So there are a lot of really great cars in the used market that are pretty good bargains. Now we've started to see residuals go up because that market's getting hot. The used car price is going up, and also people's income. I mean, when you're under income duress, then you tend to go for something more affordable, which a used car is.
Carla Bailo with us. She's the president and CEO of the Center for Automotive Research, with us on the Oakland County Megacast on a family of community television, radio, and other media outlets. So on that note, we talk about the used car sales going up. How have new car sales and leases been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, actually, the sales have stayed pretty strong, but it depends which segment of vehicle you're talking about. Full-size trucks, we can't get enough of them. Still, that's going very strong. Now, what you're seeing, though, is you're seeing longer lease terms or longer loan terms, which to get that, that monthly payment down. So we're seeing a little bit of the cash crunch that is happening in households. Electrified vehicles, mainly led by Tesla and also Toyota. Toyota's come up with several new vehicles that you can only get a hybrid. You cannot even get just a pure internal combustion engine anymore. The rest of the segments are down. Sedan sales still continue to be down. CUVs are just a little below that average. So as long as we keep, getting the vehicles to the dealer, and the consumer has the financial ability to purchase. So it's really going to depend how employment continues to grow, and how we can continue to supplement. I'm sure the $400 that was just signed as an executive order will help.
Why do you think people are buying the full-size trucks now? I get why, maybe they're holding off on the luxury cars or the sedans, but what is it about a truck that makes it so popular right now?
Well, there's a few things. One is a lot of people are wanting to do it yourself stuff, things that they would normally maybe, hire someone to do. They're doing it themselves. They need the space. Secondly, there's still a lot of need in businesses for trucks, be it landscaping, be it construction. Construction is booming. Construction in cottages, especially in Michigan, is booming. What's happening there. And RV sales are going up and up and up. People can use that kind of a product to tow, their trailer, to get a fifth wheel. They feel comfortable in their own little cocoon. And we've seen more and more of that. So I think that's it, cocooning and for business related needs.
Carla Bailo with us. She's the president and CEO of the Center for Automotive Research, with us on the Oakland County Megacast. So with everything that's gone on during the COVID-19 pandemic, all the lessons that have been learned, all the pivots that have been made by companies in the automotive industry, what does the future prospects look like? What changes can we expect in the automotive industry, and how will COVID-19 impact this industry going forward?
Well, I think you're going to see a completely different manufacturing facility. I mean, right now things have been modified so that they can be safe, but there will be more automation. It will be coming where, that way you can make sure that people are safe by doing things behind the scenes and more robotics. You're also going to see a very strict adherence to cost control, because when your sales are fluctuating, cost management, cost control is vital. And the third thing that you're going to see is looking at your supply chain, the resiliency of that, perhaps more reshoring and onshoring, to make sure that supply chain is very robust.
Carla, Detroit and Metro Detroit, the state of Michigan, is still such a highly automotive-centric economy. And with you mentioning more automation to come in the future, what do you believe is the impact that's going to have potentially on jobs in this industry? Because that's got to be a concern of the people that are already working in the automotive industry and those that are looking to get into that industry going forward.
Sure. I think when we think about that, when we think about, the world of autonomous cars or even electrified vehicles that have a lot less moving parts, when we talk about what is going to happen inevitably due to technology, we need to also have the conversation about what that means for jobs, for retraining and reskilling. And in today's world, where you really have this exponential a ramp up of technology, if you're not continuously learning and being retrained and reskilled, you're suddenly going to be obsolete. So we have to have both conversations at the same time and make sure that those people that their jobs may be in jeopardy, that we make sure that we have plans in place to do that kind of retraining and reskilling.
You mentioned electric vehicles. I know I have two cars, and one of them is a smart car, fully electric. People make fun of me all the time, but I have to tell you, I love that car. And going forward, my next car would probably be a fully electric car. Do you think we're going to see more electric vehicles, or and not just cars, but scooters and things of that nature going forward?
You're going to see more electric vehicles throughout the whole portfolio, because not only are, electric vehicles don't have to be small like a smart car anymore. They are great performance vehicles. We've got the Mach-E coming. We've got electric pickups coming. Um, as people have realized through this pandemic, they don't need to have a vehicle that can go 400 miles. They don't drive that much, and work from home probably isn't going to go away anytime soon. And in some cases, people will never go back into the office. So an electric vehicle fits their lifestyle very, very well. So we're going to start to see that proliferation. And along with that, we have to have the charging stations and the infrastructure set up properly. And that's also being thought of in most states and most cities now.
Carla Bailo with us. She is the president and CEO of the Center for Automotive Research with us on the Oakland County Megacast.